Hi guys, this is a interesting challenge in HackerRank. So let's try to solve it. So in this problem, Alice and Bob, which is our characters in the problem, created one problem in for HackerRank, and that problem is then rated by a reviewer through clarity, originality, and difficulty. So the task is to find a comparison between Alice and Bob's scores and return an array of this comparison. So let me show you how that works. So we have here, um, let's say Alice. So let's say A. Sorry. So A. So for example, Alice returned a 1 for clarity, 2 for um, originality, and 3 for difficulty. Then Bob, let's call him B. So Bob received a 3 for clarity, a 1 for originality, then a 2 for difficulty. So the task is to compare each of the array. So each of the elements in the array actually, and then a return a tally for each of the comparison points. So in here, Alice's score for index 0, which is 1, and Bob's score for index 0 is 3. So basically, Bob has a higher score here than Alice. So let's tally it. So A, B. Oops. So since Bob has the higher score than Alice, so let's give him a 1. Then in the second element, Alice received a 2, then Bob received a 1. So clearly Alice have a higher element than Bob. So Alice received a point for that. Then in the third element, so Alice received a 3 and Bob received a 2. So Alice received another point for that. So in this case, Alice have 2 points, then Bob has 1 point. So our array must return 2, 1. So let's code. So let's head over to our Visual Studio. So we'll be using JavaScript, Node.js as our programming language for that. So in that specific example, we have um, Alice score, which is 1, 2, 3, and Bob's score, which is 3, 1, 2. So let us declare those arrays. So let's head back to Visual Studio then. So var Alice has an array of 1, 2, and 3. Var Bob has a score of 3, 1, 2. So how do we tally the scores between Alice and Bob? So first we have to have our initial scores between Alice and Bob. So in the first um, program, which means it doesn't have any tally yet or any scores yet between Alice and Bob, so we have to initialize those scores. So var, so let's say a score A, which is score of Alice, is equal to 0. Var score of Bob is equal to 0. Then how do we compare each of the arrays here for Alice for us to increment score A or score B, and then to record the score of Alice, score of Bob? So as you can see, in Alice and Bob we have 3 elements each for the array. So what we're gonna do is we have to loop basically each of the elements here, then try to compare it to each element. So just gonna show you real quick on how we can do that. So for var 0 is list. So I've created a for loop for the three elements. Then we have to create basically an if statement for us to compare the score of Alice and the score of Bob. So here, if um, Alice score on that specific index is greater than Bob's score in that specific index, so basically a score of Alice must be added. Else, if, so this is important, um, we should not use else because there are three comparisons on how we could compare the scores. First, the score of Alice may be greater than Bob, may be lesser than Bob, or it could be equal to Bob. So we have to specify which of the else statement should we use. So if I just say else here, basically it would cover if I say score B plus. So that would mean that if Alice's score is less than or equal to Bob's score, then we have to increment Bob's score. So we have to use else if so that we can specify that if Alice's specific score on that index is less than Bob's score, then we have to increment score B. So if it's equal, if they're equal, then we don't have to add either score A, score B. So it's best that we don't include an else statement there. So you can also use if actually like that, but it's a more readable if you use else if. Then we have to make an array for that, for the score A and score B. So var return array is equal to score A, score B. Then to actually see our results, because if we run this code, whole code, we can't see if it the result without actually printing it on other languages you have to print, but in JavaScript we have to console log to actually see the result. So we have to console log return array so that we can see the result. So now let's run this. So previously on our paint we arrived at a result that it must be an array of 2 1. So let us see. So let us just adjust it. Yes, so we arrive at a result of 2 1. So let's see if we also arrive the same result with our code. So I've run this, I've run some tests, so let's clear that. Then node index.js. Oh, perfect. So we arrive at a result of 2 1. So how can we complete our code for that in our HackerRank? So instead of console log, HackerRank actually just wanted us to fill in this function. So this function here, as you can see, the function main and all of its remaining functions here and also here, these are auto-generated already by HackerRank, so we don't have to worry about that. We only have to worry about this function here. So we have this instruction, complete the compare triplets function below, which I already completed. So basically it's just the same with my code, so I just copy pasted it, disregarding this of course, because it will be HackerRank that will be giving the test cases. Oh, I did not share it. So disregarding this, uh, the test cases, because it will be HackerRank that will be giving or testing our code. So we basically just to include this part here, then return array. Instead of console log, we have to return array, return r. So basically it's just the same with our HackerRank, as you can see. So let's submit this code. Yeah, we've solved it. So it's an interesting code. So maybe we'll be adding more uh, programming challenges to this series. So that's it. Thanks.